from Lambeau Field in Green Bay, you're watching Rebirth of a Legend. And good evening, everyone. I'm Mike Goucher.
And I'm Carol Meekins. We welcome the tens of thousands of fans who have come to Lambeau Field and those watching statewide on our television network. The Packers are celebrating the past, the present, and the future of one of the oldest and now the newest stadiums in the National Football League.
It's the rebirth of the legend of Lambeau Field, a legend rich with tradition and history.
Look at me, 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 look at me.
There's the gun. The football game is over. History has been made.
Favre looking, now comes to the end zone, in traffic. Wow. How? I don't know.
He's high-stepping.
And let me tell you this, Green Bay is a great town for football.
A lot of excitement here at Lambeau Field. The Packers open the regular season tomorrow, of course, to a sold-out crowd. And tonight, people who might not ordinarily get into Lambeau are getting a look at the historic and brand new stadium.
The great players, the great plays, the great games, the championships. You'll see them all tonight, including the Ice Bowl. But first, let's go down to the field and Packers President and Chief Executive Officer Bob Harland as he welcomes the crowd and shows off the newly renovated Lambeau Field.
The improvements make this the best place to play and watch football, a year-round destination for our fans. Join me on a tour and see what Lambeau offers to Packers fans and the team.
The atrium is really the essence of Green Bay Packers football. One of the most interesting aspects is the floor, which covers 50 yards of a football field. The reason it runs at a different angle is because it runs parallel with the real Lambeau Field. So if you're standing on the 10-yard line in the atrium, you're standing on the 10-yard line in Lambeau Field. I think the breathtaking part of the entrance to the atrium are the statues of our founder, Curly Lambeau, and Vince Lombardi. The interesting thing about those statues are 14 feet tall. They're on a 4-foot base, a 2-foot step. Each statue weighs over 2,000 pounds. The football alone that Curly Lambeau is holding weighs 250 pounds. I'm very proud of those because I think that tells the Green Bay Packers history, and it meets you and greets you as soon as you walk into the stadium. The Packers Pro Shop is really the cornerstone of the entire atrium. In a few short months since it opened, it has become the #1 gift shop in the National Football League. This is the best. It's going to be something that's going to mean a lot to Packers fans for years to come. I think you should make a stop at Curly's Pub. The servings are going to be huge. There's an interactive area where you and the kids can have a great time and want to come back time and time again. Huge fireplace, great atmosphere. You and the family should come back and see it. If you really want to get a feel for what the Packers mean to the National Football League and to the world, this is the place to be, because in my mind, it's the finest Hall of Fame that's ever been built. And it totally tells the Green Bay Packers story. And you're going to love every minute of it from the moment you step in the front door. Up on the 4th floor of the atrium, we have the Lambeau Legends Club. The nice thing about this area is you can come here and have a wedding reception, a business seminar, bring in a board of directors for a meeting. We've even got a baptism that's booked here. This is the Packers locker room. It's the cornerstone of the football operation. It was designed by Mike Sherman, and it's shaped like a football, and in my mind, it's the finest locker room in the National Football League. The obligation we have is to see to it that Mike and the coaches and players have the best facilities they can possibly have to field a championship team, because that's what you fans deserve. Mike Sherman has a great affection for the history and tradition of this franchise, and that's why we've placed pictures around the building of our great stars, the great moments in Packers history. And what Mike is saying to the coaches and players is that you have a huge responsibility here to follow those who have preceded you and live up to this great tradition. We're very proud of Lambeau Field. You helped us build it, and we sure hope you're as proud of it as we are. That's a short look at the new Lambeau, and I hope you enjoy it as much as we do. We're very lucky to have such a wonderful place to call our football home. But you know, we wouldn't be here tonight. None of this would be here if it were not for one man. And I think you know who that one man is, Earl Lewis Curly Lambeau. He was the only Packer to wear a jersey with the #1 for good reason.
Imagine a kid, a 21-year-old kid who went to college for just 1 year. He works in a meatpacking plant. One day, he bumps into a fellow from the local newspaper. They talk. A few weeks later, they start a professional football team. The young man's credentials? He loved football. Curly Lambeau was born and raised here in Green Bay and was a football star at Green Bay East High School. He was talented enough to play under Newt Rockne at Notre Dame. It was there that Curly was introduced to a newfangled concept of the game, the forward pass. After 1 year in South Bend, illness brought him back to Green Bay. But it wasn't long before football called on him again in his chance meeting with newspaperman George Calhoun. Together, they got the Packers off the ground in 1919. Thanks to the meatpacking plant, the team had uniforms and a very unique name. Curly wore many hats over the years. He began as the star player, team captain, recruiter, and contract negotiator. He even got his father to build the first bleachers Packers fans ever sat on at their original home, Hagemeister Park. In 1922, with the help of fans, he bought the franchise, saving it from death's door, which unfortunately became a familiar theme in the Packers' early years. He coached his Packers for almost 3 decades, resulting in 6 world championships, more than any other coach in the NFL. And he's one of only 5 NFL coaches to record over 200 wins. He coached the first football three-peat, winning championships in 1929, 30, and 31. A feat duplicated only once by a man named Vince Lombardi. During Lambeau's 31 years with the Packers, he introduced numerous innovations to pro football. The Packers became the first and only community-owned pro sports team. The first team to implement daily practice, to watch film, to use a public address system, to fly to a road game. But his most important contribution to football, the perfecting of the forward pass. In 1919, that 21-year-old kid proved something, that professional excellence could come from a small town and succeed against any team in America. As father of the Green Bay Packers and one of the founding fathers of professional football, he began the theme that our players and fans have enjoyed for over 8 decades, the pure and simple love of football.
Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for helping us redevelop this great stadium. I hope you have a wonderful evening. Thank you to everybody.
Now, if you're a longtime Packer fans, you probably recognize the voice narrating the Curly Lambeau piece that we just saw.
Yes, that was Ted Moore, the radio voice of the Packers for 15 years, from 1959 to 1974. That covers the start of the Lombardi era, through the glory years, and into Bart Starr's first year as coach. Please welcome back to Lambeau Field, Ted Moore. It's great to see Ted again, and other people who brought you Packer football on the radio are here tonight.
Max McGee played 12 seasons for the Packers and is a member of the Packers Hall of Fame. McGee was color commentator on Packer broadcasts from 1979 to 1998, working with Jim Irwin. Packer fans will also remind you he caught the first touchdown in Super Bowl history. Please welcome back to Lambeau Field, Max McGee. Tonight, he was the radio voice of the Packers for 23 years, for lean years and the return to championships and Super Bowls in the 1990s.
He worked with Max McGee from 1979 to their retirement after the 1998 season. Please welcome back to Lambeau Field a 2003 inductee to the Packers Hall of Fame, Jim Irwin.
Thank you. Thank you. My goodness, it's great to be home, I'll tell you that. The names you see around the stadium honor the 20 Green Bay Packers in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. 7 of them played before the construction of this stadium, including the cornerstone of the Packer franchise and the man for whom this stadium is named, Curly Lambeau.
On the field, Curly Lambeau was a star quarterback, halfback, and the team's general. He went on to become the 4th winningest coach in NFL history, leading the Packers to 6 world championships, more than any other coach ever. One of his greatest players was Cal Hubbard. He was a 4-time All-Pro who went on to become a baseball umpire. He's the only person to be in both the Pro Football and Baseball Halls of Fame. Another key to the Packers' three-peat in 1929, 30, and 31 was Johnny Blood McNally. At halfback, he was one of the fastest players of the era, yet he was also a great defender, receiver, passer, and punter. The first guard to be elected to the Pro Football Hall of Fame was Mike Michalski. Iron Mike was as tough as they came, never getting injured while playing both ways. Michalski paved the way for fullback Clark Hinkle, fourth all-time rusher in Packers history and four-time All-Pro. Hinkle was one of the most versatile players ever, excelling at punter, place kicker, and linebacker. He said in his 10-year career, only one receiver ever got behind him. The first great long passer in pro football was Green Bay native Arnie Herbert. He sold programs and was a handyman for the Packers before becoming their first legendary quarterback. He led the league in passing 3 times. On the receiving end of Herbert's bombs was the legendary Don Hutson. He was league most valuable player twice, a 9-time All-Pro, and has records that still stand today. He's credited with inventing pass patterns and once scored 29 points in a single quarter. The first play of Hudson's second game was an 83-yard touchdown missile against the Chicago Bears, a play that changed the offensive strategy of pro football. Another is the Gray Ghost, Tony Canadeo, the third 1,000-yard rusher in pro football history and number 3 ground gainer in Packers history. During his remarkable career, he ran, passed, caught, returned punts and kickoffs, and played defense.
Tony Canadeo has remained a Green Bay resident and a dedicated Packers fan since his retirement 51 years ago. Well, those are the Packers enshrined in the National Football League Hall of Fame who played in Green Bay before Lambeau Field. The names of a dozen other Pro Football Hall of Famers are also here in this stadium. We'll hear about them and we'll welcome some of them back to Lambeau in a few minutes. So enjoy as we celebrate the rebirth of a legend.
Jim Irwin, thanks. We're just getting started. Bart Starr, Paul Hornung back on Lambeau Field.
We're going to see the fans welcome them all back in just a moment, live from Green Bay and the rebirth of a legend. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Rebirth of a Legend, the Green Bay Packers celebrating the renovation of Lambeau Field and at the same time honoring their great players and some of the great plays and great games that happened right here on this field.
10 of Vince Lombardi's players are enshrined in the NFL Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio, and have their names emblazoned here at Lambeau Field.
One was a safety, one was a cornerback, and one was the middle linebacker on Lombardi's team in the glory years.
They say defense wins championships. In the case of these 3 defenders, it was 5 championships. In college, his job was to throw the football. In the pros, his job was to intercept it. Willie Wood was not chosen in the 1960 NFL draft and had to battle his way onto the Packers roster. It was a battle well fought. In 1961, he led the league in punt returns. And in 1962, he led the league in interceptions. It was Willie's interception in the first Super Bowl that sealed the Packers' victory. With 8 Pro Bowls, Wood established himself as one of football's premier defenders. Only 6 free agents ever made it into Canton. One was number 24, Hall of Fame safety, Willie Wood. Herb Adderley was Vince Lombardi's #1 draft pick in 1961. He came in as competition to Jim Taylor and Paul Hornung in the backfield. Lombardi once said, "It scares me to think of how I almost mishandled him." Midway through his rookie season, Lombardi played him as an emergency cornerback, where his incredible speed and instincts earned him 5 All-Pro honors. His 60-yard interception return for a touchdown clinched Super Bowl II for the Packers and Adderley's place in the history books.
Number 26, Hall of Fame cornerback and kick returner, Herb Adderley. Ray Nitschke was a sensitive, loving man when he wasn't playing football. The heart of the Packers dynasty defense, he took great happiness in being close to others. During his 15-year career with the Packers, Nitschke played the second most games in team history. He was named the most valuable player of the 1962 title game and was named All-NFL 3 times. This inspirational, hard-hitting leader was the first of Lombardi's defenders to be enshrined in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. One of the greatest linebackers ever, a man whose name means football. Number 66, Hall of Fame linebacker, Ray Nitschke.
Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the south end of the field and welcome Lambeau legend, number 24, Willie Wood.
Lambeau legend Willie Wood. The guys who handle the ball usually get all the glory.
But some Packer offensive and defensive linemen are also honored as legends here at Lambeau.
They were blockers. They were tacklers. They were the foundation of Vince Lombardi football. He was the first in Lombardi's lineup of legends. Jim Ringo was the only Packer All-Pro when Vince Lombardi first arrived in Green Bay. He was effective enough that the coach built his offense around his center. Ringo started 182 straight games, went to 10 Pro Bowls, and became, according to Lombardi, the best in the league. Number 51, Hall of Fame center, Jim Ringo. Henry Jordan came to Green Bay in one of the best trades in football history. His impact on the team was immediate. For the next 11 seasons, Henry Jordan was a lightning-quick powerhouse. Jordan's personality made him a much-loved teammate, and his skill helped the 1960s Packers become one of football's all-time best defenses. Number 74, Hall of Fame defensive tackle, Henry Jordan. Of all the exceptional football players Vince Lombardi coached, he said Greg was his finest. Forrest Gregg. Greg's combination of technique and footwork, poise and acumen earned him All-NFL status for 8 straight years. In 1965, he performed double duty, and he was voted All-Pro at tackle and guard. Gregg still holds the Packer record for most consecutive games played with a staggering 187. After retirement, he coached his way to Super Bowl 16, and for 4 years, he coached in Green Bay. One of football's all-time great linemen, number 75, Hall of Fame offensive tackle, Forrest Gregg. He was a 15th round draft pick of the Cleveland Browns, but after being traded to Green Bay, Willie Davis became one of the best defensive ends in the game of football. A fast, agile, and dedicated leader, Davis went to 5 consecutive Pro Bowls and never missed a game in his 12-year career. He made the big plays in the big games. That's why Coach Lombardi said, in Willie Davis, we got a great one. Packer fans agree. Number 87, Hall of Fame defensive end, Willie Davis.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the tunnel at the south end of the field and welcome Lambeau legend, number 87, Willie Davis.
Welcome back, Willie. Right now, we're going to look at some of the explosive offensive players honored at Lambeau, some of the best ever to play the game.
They were the specialists. Their unique area of expertise was the end zone. There are 2 magical words that help define the history of Lambeau Field. Bart Starr. With unflappable poise, Starr led the Packers to 6 divisional titles, 5 NFL titles, and the first 2 Super Bowl victories. He was the most valuable player in those 2 championship contests, and he was league most valuable player in 1966 when he threw just 3 interceptions in the entire year. One of football's most accurate quarterbacks, he led the league in passing during 3 of his 16 seasons. His incredible longevity saw him play more games than any other Packer. Starr called all the plays for Lombardi's offense, including an historic quarterback sneak during one particularly chilly game in December. His commitment to the green and gold continued long after playing, with 9 seasons as head coach. He was Lombardi's gentleman general during the decade of legends. Number 15. Hall of Fame quarterback, Bart Starr. To Jim Taylor, the shortest distance between 2 points was usually through somebody. His job was a simple one, run to daylight. That's how this bruising fullback crashed his way to the National Football League's rushing elite. He saw enough daylight in 1962 to win the league most valuable player and also to win the rushing title. Despite the physical toll taken on his body, he missed just 2 games in 8 years. Durability and skill are why he is still the Packers' all-time leading ground gainer, and the reason why Taylor was the first of Lombardi's players selected to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Number 31, Hall of Fame fullback, Jim Taylor. He was a receiver with a potent 1-2 punch. James Lofton brought his combination of devastating speed and soft hands to the Packers in 1978. He instantly gave the team a much-needed downfield threat, and he wound up gaining more yards than any other Packer receiver ever. Over his long career, Lofton went to 8 Pro Bowls, and he became the first player to score a touchdown in the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s. His incredible combination of abilities helped him become the 20th Packer to be enshrined in Canton, Ohio. Number 80, Hall of Fame wide receiver, James Lofton. He was Notre Dame's second big contribution to Packer history. He was Lombardi's golden boy, Paul Hornung. Hornung was one of the biggest offensive threats the NFL has ever seen. He scored points rushing, passing, receiving, with field goals and extra points. His relationship with the end zone earned him the National Football League Most Valuable Player Award in 1960. In one frustrating game for the Baltimore Colts, he racked up 33 points, the third best in the league ever. And Hornung's staggering 176 points in a season still stands as the NFL record 43 years later. Indeed, after 4 decades, this remarkable man is still the golden boy. Number 5, Hall of Fame halfback, Paul Hornung.
Again, please direct your attention to the tunnel at the south end of the field and welcome Lambeau legends number 31, Jim Taylor, number 5, Paul Hornung, and number 15, Bart Starr.
Quite a sight. Lambeau legends getting a warm welcome here at Lambeau Field. The Packers have had 13 head coaches in their 84 years. Only 2 coaches are members of the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Between the 2 of them, they won 11 of Green Bay's 12 NFL championships. One man is Curly Lambeau, the other is Vince Lombardi.
There was no one in the history of sports quite like this man. In 1958, the Packers won just 1 game and lost 10. In 1959, he arrived and molded the team into a dynasty that may have been the best ever. In 7 years, he won 5 NFL championships. He won his final 9 playoff games. He won the first 2 Super Bowls. His teams became the standard of excellence in the 1960s and in every decade since. Perhaps this is why they named pro football's greatest accomplishment after this man. He taught more than how to succeed in football. He taught how to succeed in life. And as we, the Green Bay Packer fans, drive down the avenue named in his honor, as we see the trench coat and fedora, as we reflect on his spirit here with us this evening, let us remember he taught the principles of success not only to his players, he taught them to us. This man was our man. Hall of Fame coach and general manager, Vince Lombardi.
Let's hear it one more time for the Packers enshrined in the NFL Hall of Fame, as well as the other Packer alumni with us tonight. One more big round of applause, everybody.
And thanks, Wayne. A tribute from Packers players to the fans when Rebirth of a Legend continues. You're looking at a live picture of a rocking Lambeau Field. Packers, of course, play here tomorrow afternoon, their 47th home opener.
The thousands of fans are here tonight as the Packers honor the team's history. And a big part of the Packers story is all of the support it gets from its loyal fans.
We know that we give you guys stress out there on Sundays, but we know that with you guys cheering us on is always a victory. And we just want to say thanks.
Without you guys, the stadium would not have been renovated.
And I think it says a lot about the fans, not only in Green Bay, but in the state of Wisconsin, and for that matter, throughout the world.
Without y'all, I don't think we'll be nothing. You know, without the team, without the fans, with everybody working as one, I think that we will always be number one. And it's always title time, so thank you very much.
There's no way I could miss this opportunity to say to the Green Bay fans, you're the greatest.
I want to thank you, the fans of Green Bay, for all the support that you've given us through the years. The energy that you provide really helps us go out there and play at a different level, and I want to thank you for that.
It's no secret that in all of sports, that the Green Bay Packer fans are by far the very best. And I feel privileged to coach here and be a part of this franchise because I know our fans, when we come out of that tunnel, are going to ask our players to play at a high level.
We're here at an event drawing thousands of people that if you did it anywhere else, it wouldn't come close.
Congratulations, Packer fans, on so many years of great football memories here at Lambeau Field. My father would be proud to see thousands of fans celebrating the team and stadium that led to such a proud football tradition. Have a great night.
You know, you great season ticket holders actually come from 47 different states. I think that's amazing.
You're from the smallest market in professional sports, yet you support us in every game we play in every city in America.
You're unlike any other fans in the world.
You helped us win 12 world championships.
Thank you to all the Packer fans.
All across America.
All over Wisconsin.
All over the world.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're the best.
You fans are the greatest. I've been to other stadiums around the country. They don't even compare with the great fans in Green Bay. Please keep it alive for many, many, many years to come. You are the best. Thanks very much for your support.
And the Packers are also thanking their fans with some live music tonight.
The Rockin' Roadhouse Tour has been performing on the field throughout the day.
Hey guys, we're going to do one more for you. One for all the renegades and rebels on the road.
Tracks won't break apart. They tie them up, keeping them down. They're clinging to some old star. They'll chase that restless spirit wherever the four winds blow. There's another dream just around the bend for renegades, rebels, and roads. Let me hear you now. Renegades, rebels, and roads. I'm the fire. Hearts of gold. They ramble till they drop, gamble till the money runs out. They'll take it in their own direction. It's in their blood, you know. All roads lead to another road for renegades, rebels, and a road. How you doing, Joe? Well, I'm doing great. Daughters love them, daddies hate them, mamas don't understand. Whenever life deals them down and dirty, they just play them another hand. Yeah, there's a place in heaven for those wild and different souls. They'll be raised in hell till then, renegades, rebels, and a road. Renegades, rebels, and a road. High the fire, hearts of gold. They ramble till they drop, gamble till the money runs out. They'll take it in their own direction. It's in their blood, you know. All roads lead to
we'll hear from the two winningest quarterbacks in Packers history, Brett Favre and Bart Starr, together when Rebirth of a Legend continues.
Beyond history.
The Green Bay Packer power sweep as the
Beyond tradition.
To the 45, to the 40, he may go. 25, 20.
Beyond expectations.
It's good, and the Packers have defeated the champions.
Go beyond with the Packers Pro Shot.
The new Packers Hall of Fame experience, now in the Lambeau Field atrium.
Welcome back to Rebirth of a Legend, the Packers celebration of the renovated Lambeau Field. Two of the greatest players in the NFL played more than 370 games with the Packers, and those two are quarterbacks Bart Starr and Brett Favre.
I talked with the two Green Bay greats in the new Packers Hall of Fame and asked them what's special about being a Packer and what they respect most about each other.
I tell guys this all the time, and I really mean it. If you're here for the simple reason of playing football and you enjoy doing that, there's no better place to play. There really is. Because this is what it's all about. I love to go out on Sundays and have a packed house cheering you on, as opposed to half full. There's a small price to pay, and I consider it small. By being a small town, everywhere you go, people know who you are. But it's not a bad thing. And, you know, you can stay here half the year and be the best football player possible in the best city possible.
These are the greatest fans in the world. It's the greatest city in the world. We had the pleasure of living here 31 years. It'll always be our adopted home. But it was such a joy living here, being here, going out and having dinner with your family. And I don't know how I could possibly ever have wanted more.
What do you respect most about this guy and what he accomplished during his career?
Well, it's hard not to respect everything, what he stands for and what he has done is amazing. And you know, no matter where you go, I still get called Bart today by a lot of people, and that's one person that I have no problem being called.
What do you respect about this guy?
Well, before I answer that, you also know that he serves as my public relations agent.
He's pretty good at it, too.
No, he's outstanding at it. This will sound somewhat replicating what he just said, but I told him this from the time he came into the league. I admired his talent. I'd seen him play in college. Regrettably, he'd beaten up on our University of Alabama team. But I'd always admired his talent. But as I got to know him and saw how philanthropic he was and how concerned he was about his family, his community, I really had even more respect for him. Coach Lombardi would have loved this man.
Brett Favre and Bart Starr together in the Packers Hall of Fame.
When Rebirth of a Legend continues, we're going to count down the greatest games and the greatest moments right here at Lambeau Field.
Welcome back to Rebirth of a Legend, the Packers celebration of the renovated Lambeau Field. Packers have won 3 NFL championships and an NFC championship on this field, and there have been many more memorable moments here.
We are going to begin reviewing Lambeau's most memorable moments. Once again, the radio voice of the Packers, Wayne Larrivee.
Well, thank you very much, Mike and Carol. Today, we're used to seeing the Green Bay Packers on national television 3, 4, 5 times a year. But you know, 20 years ago, their appearances on national television were few and far between. Matter of fact, there was a 5-year period in the late 70s and early 80s where the Packers only appeared on Monday Night Football twice, but they took full advantage. They made the most of their primetime appearance, October 17th, 1983, one of the greatest Lambeau moments. It's the highest scoring game in the history of Monday Night Football. October 17, 1983. The Packers making a rare home appearance on Monday night, hosting the Super Bowl champion Washington Redskins. And it was a shootout. The two teams combined for a remarkable 95 points and rolled up more than 1,000 yards total offense. Packers quarterback Lynn Dickey put on one of the best performances in his career.
Second down and 20, back at the 36-yard line for the Packers now. It's the 36-yard line of Washington. Lynn Dickey's going to throw, and he's got some pressure. Now he fires under pressure down. Field caught by Kaufman into the end zone, touchdown.
Dickey racked up 160 yards passing in the first half alone. Finished the game with 387 yards, 22 out of 30 with 3 touchdowns. Fellow Packer Hall of Famer Paul Kaufman caught 2 of them.
I'll tell you, that Dickey is threading the needle. He hit Kaufman again in the end zone, and Kaufman now has caught 6 passes for 116 yards. Dickey also caught a pass that night from running back Eddie Lee Ivory. The Packers beat the Super Bowl champs 48-47.
A great night in Packer football history, and here are some of the men that made it happen. Quarterback Lynn Dickey. Tight end Paul Kaufman. And running back Gary Ellis. Welcome, fellas. Lynn, since you're the quarterback, I'll ask you to do the talking. We had pretty good offense back then, but have you ever figured out why we were that good that night?
Other than having the best center in the league. We did, too.
You're going to have to come up with more than that.
All right. Number one, we had a innovative, smart head coach, Bart Starr. I think I think I speak for all the players and all the fans in this state and ever been affiliated and seen a football game here that you can't help but love that man. We had heart. We never quit. We were innovative. We had some pretty damn good athletes, too.
Lynn, Paul, Gary, welcome home. Great to see you again. Wayne, back to you.
All right, thanks very much, Larry. You know, the first 2 seasons, this stadium was known as City Stadium. And the Green Bay Packers won a total of 2 ball games and lost 9. But all of that began to change. September 27th, 1959. The debut of the team's 3rd head coach in 3 years, Vince Lombardi. Lombardi's first win came in the first game of his first season, September 27, 1959, against George Halas and the Chicago Bears. The Packers were coming off a dismal season in which they won only 1 game. Lombardi's first squad had names that were destined for greatness in the coming years. Boyd Dowler, Forrest Gregg, Dave Hanner, Paul Hornung, Henry Jordan, Jerry Kramer, Max McGee, Ray Nitschke, Jim Ringo, Bart Starr, Jim Taylor, and Fuzzy Thurston. Jim Taylor ran for a touchdown, and Dave Hanner scored a safety in the final 7 minutes of the game. The Packers celebrated a 9-6 victory, carrying Lombardi off the field.
Even when a break went against us in the beginning, we stayed right in there all the way, and which I think is a sign of a pretty good football club.
The Packers won 7 games in Lombardi's first season. Lombardi was named the NFL's Coach of the Year.
A couple of the men that got it all started, tight end Gary Knaffel and left tackle and captain Bob Skoronski. Welcome, gentlemen. Gary, you caught that winning touchdown pass. How soon after Vince Lombardi got here did you realize things are going to be different?
The minute he walked to the podium, that was it. His first speech he gave us, we all knew we were either going to win or we weren't going to be here.
Gentlemen, welcome home. Mike and Carol, back up to you.
Thanks, guys. We'll continue more of the greatest moments at Lambeau Field when Rebirth of a Legend continues.
Once again, you're looking at a live picture of Lambeau Field and the rebirth of a legend. And welcome back, everyone. We're counting down the greatest moments in Lambeau Field history.
Thousands of people are here at Lambeau, and Packer fans around the state are on our network watching the great plays, the great games, including, of course, what many Packers and fans consider to be the greatest game ever played, the Ice Bowl. Let's go back down to the field and the radio voice of the Green Bay Packers, Wayne Larrabee, for another of Lambeau's greatest moments from the glory years.
Well, thanks very much, Carol. You know, the Packers under Vince Lombardi began to dominate the NFL in the 1960s. On January 2nd, 1966, that football team began an unprecedented run to glory. The Packers' signature play of the 1960s was very simple. Run to perfection, nearly impossible to stop. The power sweep propelled the Packers to the 1965 NFL championship right here at Lambeau Field. It was Vince Lombardi's third NFL championship and the first of the Packers' Triple Crown in their glory years. January 2nd, 1966. The Packers faced off against the defending NFL champion Cleveland Browns. Heavy snow the night before made for sloppy conditions at Lambeau Field. The Packers defied the weather by scoring first with a pass.
Two linebackers peel off at the snap. They were right up on the line of scrimmage. There's LeBron as Bart Starr goes for a goal, and he takes the catch out of the 15. He got the 10, he got the 5, and he did not stand enough.
But it was the Packer running attack by a duo known as Thunder and Lightning that dominated this game.
Carroll Dale is split wide to the left. The ball is given to Paul Horton. Horton coming around the bend, breaks loose at the line of scrimmage, gets loose up to the 40 to the 50, and is finally caught from behind the Russell down as he takes that ball all the way down through the Cleveland Browns 39-yard line.
Paul Horton carried 18 times for 105 yards. Jim Taylor racked up 96 yards on 27 carries. The Packers were up by 1 point midway through the third quarter when Horton broke the game open with the most famous of Lombardi's plays, the power sweep.
Starr takes the ball, hands off to Horning, sweeps to the left side, he's got the block, he's inside the 10, he's at the 5, cuts into the end zone for the touchdown. And there you saw the Green Bay Packer power sweep as of days of yore, as Forrest Gregg cleared the way with a beautiful block in the vicinity of the 5-yard line to spring him loose. The two guards, Jerry Kramer and Fuzzy Thurston, doing a great job at the line of scrimmage.
On the muddy, sloppy, frozen tundra, the Packers won the 1965 NFL championship and continued the amazing legacy of Lombardi.
And now the men who put the power in the power sweep. Fullback Jim Taylor and offensive guards Jerry Kramer and Fred Fuzzy Thurston. Yes. As the ball carrier, Jim, I'll ask you to be the spokesman. What was it like running to daylight behind these two men?
Most wonderful feeling I think I could have as a running back. Jerry and Fuzzy were just outstanding.
Guys, welcome home. It's great to see you. Wayne, back to you.
Thank you, Larry. Another great moment in Lambeau Field history is still being debated some 14 years later. The date, November 5th, 1989. A 14-yard Don Mikowski touchdown pass to Sterling Sharp to beat the Chicago Bears. It's a play Packer fans love to see over and over again. It's one of the most talked about games in the oldest rivalry in the NFL. The game decided by instant replay. The Packers were the cardiac kids of 1989, but none of their close victories that year were as heart-stopping as the replay game. It was a hard-fought battle, as Packers-Bears games usually are. With 41 seconds remaining, the Packers were trailing 13-7, 4th and 14.
Can it be done or not? Makowski with the snap, back with some time, looking, now stepping up, on the run. He's going to have to throw in the end zone. Throw it on, and touchdown! Sterling Sharp, he caught it, and he threw it in between two, and what a throw by Makowski with 32 seconds to go in the game.
But there's a flag on the play. Makowski is called for being over the line of scrimmage. The replay is checked in the booth. 4 grueling minutes later, the decision is rendered.
After further review, we have a reversal. Touchdown! All right! Holy cow!
It's a touchdown Packers fans cherish and Bears fans loathe. In fact, for several years, the Bears media guide put an asterisk next to the replay game.
And now a couple of gentlemen who had a field-level view of that play. Offensive guard Ron Hallstrom and Don Magic Makowski, the quarterback. Magic as the quarterback, you're the spokesman. Just between us, were you over the line?
Absolutely not. It wasn't even close. If you look close, it wasn't even close.
How sweet was it to beat the Chicago Bears that way?
It was especially sweet. I mean, the Packers haven't beaten the Bears in 6 years, and you know, they were dominating the rivalry. And to come back, I actually threw an interception in the prior series before that, and the game kind of looked bleak, but to come back and to make it on a 4th down play was unbelievable.
Guys, welcome back. Great to see you. Over to you, Wayne.
Thank you very much, guys. Our next greatest moment in Lambeau Field history was also a game ender against the Chicago Bears. It is also the only touchdown this particular Packer hero ever scored in his career. Let's go back to opening day, September 7th, 1980. Chester Markle is 6th on the Packers' all-time scoring list. All but 6 of his 521 points came from kicking. It was the season opener 23 years ago. The Packers against the Chicago Bears. The game went into overtime, tied at 6. A field goal would win the game. It was up to Chester Markle. The rest is history. Number 13 won many games for the Packers, but for Chester Markle and the fans, this victory was the sweetest of them all.
What a way to beat the Bears. Welcome back to Lambeau Field, Chester Markle and Ezra Johnson. Chester, first of all, I've got a confession to make. I think it was my guy who blocked the kick.
Well, that's how it went, but like I said before, unincredible, Larry.
One other question for you. Were you running out of fear or for the score?
Well, whatever I ran for, we won the game. That's what counted.
You betcha, guys. Welcome back. Mike and Carol, back to you.
All right, Larry, we'll never know. We'll never know. Great players have had some of their greatest moments right here at Lambeau Field.
We're going to revisit some of those along with more of the championship games played at Lambeau when Rebirth of a Legend continues. Live in Green Bay, welcome back to Rebirth of a Legend, the Packers celebration of the renovated Lambeau Field.
As we have been seeing tonight, fans are celebrating the Packers' rich history and tradition.
Current Packers know they are part of that tradition.
Our Lambeau Field represents to me our past, our present, and our future. The great history of the Green Bay Packers is a part of us, and it's also a responsibility for us to uphold the great tradition that this organization, this franchise, has employed throughout history.
For those of us who haven't grown up in the greater Green Bay area, the Wisconsin area, you know, that got to see it growing up, it's really special the first time you see it, and obviously to call it home and to be able to play in it every week is a tradition and an honor unlike any other in all of sports.
My first experience with Lambeau was when I was drafted here, and I was being brought up to the stadium, and when you're coming off Lombardi, you can kind of see it in the horizon, and I kind of saw it, and I was just like, man, you know, and that was the old stadium, and I was like, man, that thing, you could tell there's something special about that place.
So as we go in there, I'm thinking it's just going to be like it was at San Diego State, just people on the sideline, nothing big. The place was packed for scrimmage. You know, I was like, wow, this is what it means to play on Lambeau Field. I mean, I remember not really focusing on the scrimmage. I was so shocked about just mesmerized by the fans being on Lambeau Field, walking out that tunnel.
And I mean, it's going to be a tradition that's going to last forever. You know, with Vince Lombardi, you know, James Lofton, Curly Lambeau, you know, Willie Davis. I mean, you can go on, Bart Starr, and it's going to continue going on and on.
And a future NFL Hall of Famer had one of his greatest games here at Lambeau Field 10 seasons ago.
Let's go back to the field now and Wayne Larrabee. Wayne?
All right, thank you very much, Mike. The Packers' return to glory began with the elevation of Bob Harlan to the head of the organization. He hired Ron Wolf, who then brought on board Mike Holmgren. They traded for Brett Favre and then acquired the biggest free agent in the history of the sport. All of those personalities teamed up on a memorable afternoon, October 10th, 1993.
He was the Minister of Defense, and he answered the prayers from Packers fans 10 years ago in his very first season in Green Bay. Reggie White was the biggest free agent signing of the Wolf-Holmgren era. In his 5th game as a Packer, the NFL's all-time sack leader put on a prime-time performance. The Packers jumped out to an early lead over the Denver Broncos, but John Elway then led the kind of comeback that made him famous, until White single-handedly took over the game and shut down the Broncos' attack. His first sack stopped the drive. The final 2 sacks came in the final 2 minutes as the Broncos were driving for the go-ahead score.
Here's Elway back to throw it. Elway under some pressure. Elway looking. Elway dancing around. He goes down. He goes down by Reggie White. And the game is going to be won by the Packers. Reggie White gets him to sack 4th down.
68.5 of White's NFL record 192.5 sacks came as a member of the green and gold. But on that night, White showed the fans he had arrived as a Packer. And Packers fans began a new tradition.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Lambeau Field. The best of all time, Reggie White. Reggie, when you played here, I remember lots of great defense, lots of sacks, but as much as anything, I remember you staying after games and connecting with these fans here at Lambeau.
Well, you know, the special thing about it, in 1996, and when I got here in 1993, I remember the first scrimmage that we came out, there's 35,000 people here, which really took me back, and to see all these names up here with Bart Starr and Willie Davis and Herb Allen and so many guys that's here tonight, I wanted my name up there. And when we won the Super Bowl in '96, we as a team felt that we didn't just win this for us and the coaches and the organization, that the fans was just as much a part of that victory as we were as players. We wish we could have gave everybody a Super Bowl ring.
Reggie, welcome home. Wayne, back to you.
Minister of Defense, Reggie White. The Packers won 3 of their world championships in the 1960s right here at Lambeau Field. The first came just 4 years after the new stadium had opened, December 31st, 1961.
Vince Lombardi won his first NFL championship in his 3rd year as head coach of the Packers. It was December 31st, 1961. The Packers were the powerhouse of the NFL's Western Division, going 11-3 on the season. 39,029 fans filled what was then called City Stadium to watch the Packers face the Eastern Division champion New York Giants. The Packers opened the scoring with a classic play.
Snap of the ball, Paul Hornung off the right side, cuts at the 5, end zone, touchdown.
They added to the scoring with a classic combination.
Snap of the ball, fades the pass, looks to the right, is looking, it is complete, down with a touchdown.
The Packers destroyed the Giants 37-0. Players lifted Lombardi to their shoulders to celebrate their first championship of the 60s. Packers fans introduced a new banner that year. Hosting the Green Bay was Title Town.
Two members of that championship team, wide receiver Boyd Dowler and tight end Ron Kramer. Welcome, gentlemen. Boyd, it's one thing to talk about dynasties in the past tense. What was it like as you were building it? Did you have an inkling you were on to something special?
We knew we were pretty good.
We knew we were damn good.
We didn't know we were that good.
Yes, we did. Lombardi made us feel that we were that good. You know that.
We were young, we were talented, we were smart, and we played together, and we loved one another. And that is exactly what made us great.
Gentlemen, thank you. Mike and Carol, back up to you.
All right, Larry, thanks very much. The 1990s saw the Packers return to the top of the NFL and the start of a new tradition.
And we're going to have more of those greatest moments when Rebirth of a Legend continues.
Clear.
I was absolutely stunned by the intensity of the emotion from the fans in Green Bay. I had expected the professional football world to be a little blasé and a little ho-hum about the game, but the emotion was overwhelming.
What I remember most about the Packers, and everyone does, was the arrival of Vince Lombardi.
It was a feeling of pride every time I went into that stadium and walked up the steps to the broadcast booth. We didn't have elevators in those days, and I always had that feeling. Even after I was not broadcasting the Packers, when I would get to that press box, that was still my roots in professional football, and I loved the stadium.
It's just outstanding. I mean, I just have this great sense of pride about the fact that there was a time when I was out there on that field, that same field, but the facility is just amazing.
And to see what it is now is almost unbelievable. It's gone from 35,000 to, I believe they're up to 70,000 people. And I think it's one of the nicest stadiums in the country.
And welcome back, everyone. Time now for another of Lambeau Field's greatest moments.
And we go back down to the field. Here's Wayne Larrivee.
All right, thanks very much, Carol. The Green Bay Packers posted back-to-back 13-3 seasons in the 1990s. They won 2 consecutive NFC championships with those records, NFC Central Division championships. They went to the championship game of the NFC 2 years in a row. And the second year, they got it done, January 12th, 1997.
It was the first championship game played at Lambeau Field since the Ice Bowl 29 years earlier, January 12, 1997. A cold crowd of more than 60,000 filled the stadium. The game time temperature was 3 degrees, wind chill 17 below. Brett Favre threw a 29-yard touchdown pass to Dorsey Levens. and a 6-yard touchdown to Antonio Freeman. But it was this play in the third quarter that put the game away.
Red waits. Here is a play-action fake handoff. Second guy, Bennett. Walked into the end zone. Edgar Bennett with a hole on the right side that you could drive a truck to the Super Bowl through.
The Green Bay Packers are on their way to the Super Bowl.
Afterward, Packers players, coaches, President Bob Harlan, and General Manager Ron Wolf celebrated with the fans.
Hey, Green Bay, how about this? Guess where we're going?
Packers players celebrated in the stadium long after the game. Reggie White sharing the Hallis Trophy with fans. At his retirement in 2001, Wolf said his proudest moment was winning the 1996 NFC Championship and the team's success in spite of free agency, a period in which many thought it would be difficult for the Packers to compete.
As I'm talking to you, the team with the best record throughout free agency, regular season, is the little old Green Bay Packers.
Ladies and gentlemen, the architect of the Packers' return to glory, Ron Wolf. Ron, despite the fact that you guys went on to win the Super Bowl that season, I thought that game, that NFC Championship game right here at Lambeau Field, was your crowning glory.
I agree with that 100%. It meant so much, I think, to everybody connected with the Packers to have a game here, to win it convincingly, and to prove all those doubters wrong, that you can, in fact, have a championship football team in the greatest city in the National Football League, Green Bay, Wisconsin, and the smallest city in the National Football League.
Ron, speaking for all of us, we thank you. Ron Wolf, Wayne, back to you.
Thank you, Larry. Our next greatest moment also occurred on a cold day, December 26th, 1993, and it's a moment that's been relived time and time again.
Ten years ago, a gift was given to Packers fans on the day after Christmas. It's a gift wide receivers and running backs give the most. But the first Lambeau leap came from an unlikely source. Safety Leroy Butler.
Second down. Here's Evans back to throw on second down. They chase him out of the pocket. The screen. And he sets a screen up, and it's knocked down at the 38-yard line. A fumble. Tackle. Do the Packers have the ball? Apparently they do. And they're going to give it to the Packers. Butler goes to the touchdown.
That day, the Lambeau leap became the stuff legends are made of.
Welcome back to Lambeau Field, the man who originated the Lambeau leap, Leroy Butler, and the man who some say perfected it, Robert Brooks. Gentlemen, Leroy, that first Lambeau leap, was it planned or totally spontaneous?
I'm not skillful enough to plan it. It was spontaneous, and it was definitely for the fans. And as I stand today, Robert Brooks definitely had the best Lambeau leap.
Robert, folks say you perfected it. Was it a matter of athletic ability?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. It's just my hops. I think I told Leroy, and, as I said in my song, I said, Leroy Butler, my idea came from him, but he stuck to the wall like Velcro.
Leroy Butler, Robert Brooks, ladies and gentlemen. Mike and Carol, back to you.
The Lambeau leap. One of the greatest moments in Lambeau Field history was the dramatic first victory for one of the greatest players in the NFL.
We'll have that for you when Rebirth of a Legend continues.
Welcome back to Rebirth of a Legend, the Packers celebration of the renovated Lambeau Field. Not surprisingly, one of the Packers' greatest players had one of his greatest moments here at Lambeau, a moment that sparked his career and the team's resurgence.
Let's go back to Wayne Larrivee on the field for another of Lambeau Field's greatest moments. Wayne?
Well, thank you very much, Mike. You know, Brett Favre's career here really began 10 years ago in a backup role in a come-from-behind effort on a sunny Sunday afternoon. It was September 10th, and the date was 1992. Favre was in his first year with the Packers, seeing his first extensive action. In a play that became legendary here at Lambeau Field, Favre stayed in the pocket and launched a rocket down the right sidelines.
One of the greatest chapters in Packers history began 11 years ago, September 20th, 1992. Brett Favre came off the bench to lead the Packers to a come-from-behind victory. Starter Don Mikowski went to the bench early in the game with an injured ankle. Favre, in just his third game in a Packers uniform, took the field, and he hasn't left since. Favre completed 22 of 39 passes for 289 yards. The final pass, with 19 seconds remaining and the Packers trailing 23-17, brought him his first victory as the Packers quarterback.
Here's Favre. Favre goes straight back in the pocket. Now he pumps it. Now he's going to the end zone. There's a man. He's wide open. Touchdown. And it's caught by the wide open. And it is Kendrick Taylor. Two men back there. Nobody covered him. Let him all by himself. I can't believe it, Jim. A great pass by Favre. Kendrick Taylor has scored it. Oh, my goodness.
That last ball was scared I was going to throw it about halfway up in the seats. And when I threw it, I closed my eyes, and I was just listening for a cheer. And when I heard it, I said, you know, either we got a touchdown or we're close.
Favre's legendary streak of 173 consecutive games as a starter began the next week. Since then, he's won 115 regular season games for the Packers in his career. He's led the Packers to the playoffs 8 times, been voted to the Pro Bowl 7 times. He's won the NFL's Most Valuable Player Award 3 times. And with Brett Favre at the helm, the Packers won Super Bowl 31, bringing the Lombardi Trophy back to Green Bay.
Brett would have been here tonight, but he claims to have other things on his mind this weekend, like whipping the Minnesota Vikings.
And on that note, Mike and Carol, back to you.
All right, guys, thanks. Up next, we'll relive the Ice Bowl.
That greatest moment when Rebirth of a Legend continues. We're live in Green Bay. Welcome back to Rebirth of a Legend, the Packers celebration of the renovated Lambeau Field.
Carol, as we all know, two of the greatest quarterbacks to play the game are Brett Favre and Bart Starr.
Starr was the quarterback for our final greatest moment at Lambeau Field. And once again, the radio voice of the Green Bay Packers, Wayne Larrivee.
Well, thank you, Carol. Many call this the greatest game ever played anywhere. The Ice Bowl, December 31st, 1967. Here are the final 7 plays of the climactic drive, with history hanging in the balance, called by our Ted Moore. These are the plays that led to the winning score. And when the Packers scored in the south end zone here at Lambeau Field in the final seconds of that game, that was the greatest moment in Lambeau Field history.
Third down and 8 for the Packers at the Cowboys' 39-yard line. Starr takes the ball, backpedals, looks downfield, flips a short pass, complete to Anderson. He's at the 35. He moves to the 30-yard line, and it will be very close to a first down. I believe the Packers have got it. Yes, they have a first down at the Cowboys' 31-yard line. Everything from here on in is crucial. Starr takes the snap from center. He's back to throw. He flips the pass. It's complete to Chuck Mercine. He's at the 25, the 20, down to the 15, and out of bounds at about the 11-yard line. Chuck Mercine, the taxi squad refugee, has again proved that he was a good acquisition for these Green Bay Packers. There's a minute and 11 seconds remaining in this game. First and 10, Green Bay at the Dallas 11-yard line. Starr has the team at the line. Takes the snap. It's to Mercine. Pops up the middle. The 5. He's inside the 5 to the 2-yard line. The clock shows 54 seconds. The Packers have the ball at the Cowboys' 3-yard line. It is second down and a little over a yard to go for the first down. The Packers are at the line of scrimmage. The handoff to Donnie Anderson. He is very close. He's got the first down, but he does not have the touchdown. 17-14, the Cowboys in the lead. The Packers inches away from the winning touchdown. Bart Starr hands off to Donnie Anderson. He smashes into the center of that line. I don't believe he made it. There's 20 seconds on the clock. There's inches to go for the touchdown. The Cowboys lead 17-14. Takes the snap. The handoff goes to Donnie Anderson. He's not in. The Packers call time again. That's all the timeouts the Green Bay Packers have. They are still inches away from that goal line. Just inches. 16 seconds remaining. This has got to be sheer tension. I have never had it come down to the final few seconds like this. Here are the Packers. Third down. Inches to go. To Bader. 17-14. Cowboys out in front. Packers trying for the go-ahead score. Starr begins the count. Takes the snap. He's got the quarterback taken. He's into the touchdown, and the Packers are out in front. 20-17. There's 13 seconds showing on the clock, and the Green Bay Packers are going to be world champions, NFL champions for the third straight year.
Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the tunnel at the south end zone and welcome the members of the Ice Bowl offense who are with us tonight. Quarterback, Bart Starr. Center, Ken Bowman. Right guard, Jerry Kramer. Left guard, Gail Gillingham. Running back, Donnie Anderson. Receiver, Boyd Dollar. Tight end, Marv Fleming. Left tackle, Bob Skorotsky. And receiver, Carol Dale. Jerry, the man with the big block. Now, if memory serves me correctly, you wanted that play coming right over you, did you not?
Actually, I suggested that play on short yardage films on Thursday, and it was a sensational moment for me. But Larry, I'm so much prouder of the whole drive. What I'm proud of is this team, when we got together in the huddle and we looked at one another's eyes and there was hardly a word spoken and everyone in the huddle knew what we had to do, and we made some great plays coming down that field, and Bart Starr made some great calls coming down that field, and that drive personified the Green Bay Packers of that era.
I want to suit up.
Kenny Bowman, you also got a piece of Jethro Pugh on that block. Did you think 36 years later we'd be reliving this moment again?
No, I didn't. I really, I was so young and dumb at that time, I didn't realize that it was going to be the franchise play of the Green Bay Packers. I really, it was just a thrill to be playing with these guys. And as Jerry said, on that final drive, I think that epitomized Vince Lombardi's football teams. We were a machine. We just went down the field and scored.
Kenny, thanks for being here.
Now with Bart Starr, the man who scored the touchdown. Bart, how important was that single play to the legacy you men left as Green Bay Packers?
Well, as you look back on it, obviously it was very, very important, but I loved what Jerry just said, because all these fellows standing over here epitomized what this was really all about in those 60s, and it was called team. And I don't think many of us really appreciate the meaning of that word until you can see it lived out in a happening like this. We truly had a great team, very unselfish, very committed, very, very talented people.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Ice Bowl Packers.
And maybe we'll add that to the greatest moments list here at Lambeau Field. We'll have more fireworks, closing thoughts from Packers Executive Vice President and Chief Operating Officer John Jones.
And we're also going to have more from the Rock and Roadhouse Tour when Rebirth of a Legend continues.
That winning play one more time. Now let's go down to the field. Packers Executive and Vice President and Chief Operating Officer John Jones is about to speak to the crowd.
Thank you very much. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, another chapter for the Green Bay Packers begins. A chapter that celebrates our incredible history and gives our current and future players the best facilities in all of football. It's been said many times this week, all of this happened because of you, the greatest fans in the National Football League, Green Bay Packer fans. So from all of us in the Packers organization, thank you. Thank you for making this Rebirth a great, great event. And a special thanks goes out to these many former Packers, our legends, our alumni, who made the trip here tonight and made it so special for all of us. On behalf of all of us who have the privilege of working for the Green Bay Packers and serving you, it is an honor to represent you in the state of Wisconsin in the National Football League. We hope everyone had fun tonight. We hope the Packers have a great day tomorrow. Let's go out and beat the Vikings. Go Packers!
Chief Operating Officer John Jones, great players, great plays, great moments remembered here tonight at Lambeau Field.
Tonight's Rebirth of a Legend just adds to those memories. That's going to do it for us tonight. Thanks for being with us. I'm Mike Boucher.
And I'm Carol Meekins. We leave you tonight with another look at the legends of Lambeau Field and one more thank you from the Packers to their fans.
There's so many wonderful moments in Packers history. Let's don't forget those who left us a little early. And let's hear it for those people who are still with us, who continue the Packers tradition.
Discovered right